I appreciate you coming in, man.
I'm glad to be here.
This is a special episode for me because I remember when we were training at Finney's together when you were a little bit younger, still on the amateur scene.
Yeah.
But I will tell you what everyone said behind your back.
Oh,
And
really?
that we were all so excited about your potential. We were all so excited to see the kind of man that you would progress into, the kind of fighter and the
Okay.
capabilities that you had, especially considering your natural born gifts coupled with the discipline and the work ethic that you've kind of exuded your life with. I just want to say that this is kind of weird because like I'm not your dad, I'm not your older
Yeah.
brother or anything,
Yeah.
but it is a weird feeling of like I'm really proud of you. Like
Thank you.
I'm really
Appreciate
proud to
that.
see your
Thank you.
career and see your progression. And this is a weird episode for me, but like in a good way. Like I have like a lot of emotions.
Yeah, you're like I know what you mean. You're like
An
you're seeing me
older
grow-
person
Yeah,
than
you're
you.
like the older brother that saw me growing up, and you're like, oh, and I know where you came from and where you're at now. Like,
Let's start there if you don't
okay.
mind.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll start.
And I don't want to. I don't want anything to sound like an insult. This is definitely all praise. But to see how much you've progressed, it's not just the gym. It's not just those around you. There is also something to be said about the individual. So that is the first question I want to ask you. When was it, Max, that you knew you wanted to fight?
When, well, it wasn't like I knew. It was more of a choice.
Okay.
I decided.
When was that?
It was probably, I would say, right after I graduated high school. Like,
So 18, 19?
18, 19. But I did it for fun. I enjoyed it. Like, for me to get into MMA, it was like a release for me. Like when I was in middle school, I didn't really speak English that well. I didn't really know that many people because we moved around constantly, and like I didn't really have people that could teach me English. So it was for me, like I used to be stressed out all the time. I used to get in fights all the time, elementary school, middle school.
Because of your miscommunication? Like when you say you didn't speak English, forgive me. Can you?
Yeah, so
It was in like insecurity.
no, I just had I moved to America when I was about close to 9 years old, and I didn't really have too many friends growing up because we were constantly moving. I had like a lack of communication. Like I didn't know how to speak English. Like literally, I just couldn't speak English. So it took a long time for me to learn English. So I used to get enough. I used to get picked on for just because
Being the immigrant.
yeah, being an immigrant, just a typical BS. But so I used to fight. I mean I had to defend myself, right? Like people used to throw shit at me. Like I live in the city, so growing in the city is just like you just get picked on for just being
Different.
different, exactly. So I used to fight all the time, and so I started gaining a lot of weight because I used to be like didn't have any friends. I used to be stressed all the time, and I enjoyed like martial arts. I thought it was cool, and I wrestled when I was a kid, and when I came to U.S., we didn't have the funds, to put me in sports. But when I went to high school, I had the opportunity to do sports through the school, and that's when I signed up for wrestling. And right before then I had signed up for MMA, like boxing. I thought it was cool. I wanted to do it, try it out, and I did it. So since then I just been getting into it slowly over time.
So if you don't mind me asking, when you were in high school, when you started high school, they had a boxing curriculum and a wrestling curriculum?
No, just
or did you
wrestling.
wrestling through the school and then boxing through what,
Yeah.
Finney's?
Yeah, through Finney's. Yeah.
Got you. Forgive me, how did you find Finney's? Like how did that even?
Google.
Just Google it.
Just
Got
Google.
you.
Yeah, we used to live in apartments about 2-3 miles down from Finney's, and one day I was like, dude, I want to try signing up for a martial art classes, and I asked my mom. I was surprised. She said yes. I knew she was gonna say yes because I was like, yeah, I might as well ask. So I asked her. She's like, sure, I'll take you. It took me, and I tried it out, and I liked it. She signed me up. And since then, my life has completely changed, like completely. My whole area, a lot of people I met, like people I know now, like has from that decision on, like my whole life moved to a different
You
direction.
could have zigged or you could have zagged.
Yeah, I moved to a complete direction. My whole life is evolved with fighting now. Even like my wife, that's how I met her, through like training. I like, you know what I'm saying. So like my whole life has just because of fighting, just one decision, just moved it to this direction.
Based on that reaction, forgive me for asking this, but then I do have like a more macro question, and that is, what does like martial arts? Two questions.
Yeah.
One, what does martial arts mean to you, and then what does fighting mean to you? But we'll start with the latter first. What does martial arts? If someone says like, "Oh, Max is a martial artist," like what does that mean to you? Forgive me if you don't want me asking the macro question.
Yeah.
Just wanted to take a second to pause the action and just tell you guys thank you so much for consuming our content. Easy Talk is a passion project. This podcast is just a bunch of like-minded people coming together to produce some cool stuff and talk to some cool people. One of the things I would very much appreciate is if you could possibly like the video or subscribe to the channel, just because it helps us in the algorithm and ultimately to grow, to get more exposure to everybody, including ourselves, and ultimately just make a better product. Take a second, I'd greatly appreciate it, and on with the show.
Yeah, martial arts, I mean, something that's like, it's not, it shows more of what kind of person you are, like disciplined. You know, someone that's, like, it describes like what kind of person you are internally. Like fighter, as like when you say a fighter, you know what I mean? Like you just look at it like, he's just a fighter. He's good at like physically fighting. But martial artist is deeper than that. It's not just physical. It's like it's your lifestyle. It's the decisions you make every day to stay in that key, earn that title as a martial artist. You know, so like it's.
Does that carry more weight for you? Like, okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you rather be described as Max Choriev, the martial artist, or Max Choriev, the fighter? Which one would you prefer, the title? Because both are good and bad, right?
They are both good and bad. But as a father, I'd say martial artist. If I was a single guy, I would say fighter. Like I would say fighter. But,
let me ask you that then, because obviously you had an extensive amateur career and subsequently you went professional. And congratulations on your most recent win. You're now 6-1, and
right.
A lot of people would say that you're a very highly touted prospect. So congratulations on getting to that point, because that's difficult into itself, right? Let's take a step back, and I do want to ask what that process to go pro was like. What was the conversation that you had with those around you? What was the precursor for you to say like, okay, I'm no longer an amateur fighter. Now I'm going to go pro.
Honestly, like I'm always like, I get nervous about fights, but I never get like scared to fight anybody, you know. But for me, it was a challenge. I had 10 fights as an ME, like MMA wise. I had kickboxing, boxing, but like I was having trouble getting fights.
Yeah.
So I was like, when I moved to Michigan, I was like, they told me you need to go pro now, like because right now you don't have any, who can't get you opponents.
Can we expand on that slightly if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah.
I often tell people that are like, 9-1, 8-2 at the amateur level, that if you were to go pro today, your next professional fight would be easier than your next amateur fight. And that's because of the acumen, right? So like for those that don't understand, when you go professional, your record is kind of eclipsed from your amateur career, and you go back to 0-0. So let's say you're Max Choriev and you're 8-2 or 9-1 or 10-0, whatever your record is. Your next amateur fight, you're fighting the next amateur killer, the next up and coming guy similar to you. But if you were to go pro, your next fight, you're a 0-0. You have no professional career. Like it could be against an 0-2 pro. It could be against a 1-1 pro or a 1-0 pro. The fabric of that next challenge would be lesser than the next amateur challenge, which I know sounds oxymoronic to like the viewer, but like for fighters will understand this, because the next up and coming world beater amateur versus your, I hate to say it this way, but entry level professional. So when people were telling you it's time to go pro, were they also factoring that into the equation of saying like, hey, your next fight is going to be way harder if you're an amateur versus if you go pro now?
I wouldn't say harder. They said you had enough experience as an Emmy. Like they told me your first 4 fights is gonna be pretty easy. You're gonna pretty much dominate the whole fight
As a pro.
Because you've been through the hardest at the end of your amateur career. You've been through the hardest challenges. But the almost like a reset from the beginning as a pro. But now your record's permanent. So like it's easier your first 4 fights than like your end of, like you said, like end of your
amateur career,
yeah,
versus the start of your professional career. What did you think about that when you heard about that? Were you like, yeah, or
it made sense to me?
Okay,
it made sense to me. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But like When I turned pro that year, I was trying to be active. Like I knew my first 4 fights gonna be easy, and I just dominated the first 4 fights. I finished all first round finishes, and
Do you think that was good or bad for you though? Out of curiosity. Like when you look back at your professional career, do you wish that some of those fights would have been a little bit more difficult? Do you wish some of them would have gone past the first round?
no, I just it is what it is. I mean, like to me,
It was what you needed when you had it.
yeah. I mean, like for me, if I preferably if I could go back, I like a fight, like a little bit of a challenge, you know. But I knew it was gonna be pretty much a pretty easy fight, so I was like, yeah, whatever, you know. But that year, the year I turned pro, I had 9 camps. Out of those 9 camps, I fought 4 times.
Can you explain what you mean by that? Meaning you trained for 9 fights?
Yeah, I trained for 9 fights. Had started dieting, a whole 9 yards. But like, I fought 4 times that year because opponents dropped out, or didn't show up, or all this craziness. You know, like how a typical fighting is.
The unsexy part of
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah. So like, I was trying to end up with 7-0, 6-0. That was my goal. Just that year, try to have at least 6 fights. But I ended up fighting 4 times.
So was that what kind of was that also the catalyst to make you go pro? Because you're like, dude, I'm starting these camps for no reason and people aren't showing up. Might as well.
No. This was after I turned pro. Yeah, this was after I turned pro.
So you would have had 9 fights.
Yeah, I would have had.
And
9,
even at the pro level,
yeah.
5 guys dropped out.
Yeah,
Holy shit! Wow.
Yeah, so this was
That's worse than me, dude. That's
Yeah,
worse than anybody I know.
I was just getting injured at that point. I was training so hard, like my body was just literally just falling apart. I was
because you were going from camp to camp to camp to camp.
Like mentally, I was good. Physically, my body was deteriorating because like I was just walking around like 185. Like I was not fully recovering. I was damn, it didn't work out. So
And you fight at 170 for those.
I fight at 170. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for this camp, I had a full 6-week camp. I came down from 210, like from 210 to 170. Like that's good. You know what I mean? That's for me. It's like I had a full camp, good shape. I feel strong. You know, so like something like that would be ideal. For me, like
Forgive me. What do you walk around at? Like you say 210. Is that like your natural weight?
my natural weight is about 200.
Okay.
But
So
after
210
that,
is actually kind of heavy then.
yeah, a little bit. But
He just got married. Give him some grace.
yeah, I just had a baby. So like
I'm fighting dad bod.
Yeah, dad bod got me. But normally I walk around like 200, like 205. And I float between 205 200. But yeah, it's from 210. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It was like once I start hitting cardio consistently, the weight just falls off. You know what I'm saying.
I hate to ask you this, but let's kind of pivot real quick. So you say like the first 4 fights of your career were relatively easy. Your most recent bout was literally this weekend, literally yesterday, or 2 days ago, forgive me, because this is Monday. So Saturday night, you had a great performance, absolutely demolished your opponent. But if you don't mind, the narrative of the story that I'm trying to tell actually goes 1 fight prior to that. So you had a very tough back and forth where you ended up losing a decision.
Yep.
The first professional loss of your career. The reason I want to bring this up is not necessarily like open up old wounds, but to kind of explain that narrative. Can you explain to me the emotions that were going into that fight before? Because this was definitely the most, ex-UFC vet, the most, I think you would agree with me.
Highest level opponent.
It was I was going to say that. I think you would agree
yeah.
when I say that this was definitely the highest level opponent that you had faced, amateur, professional, up until this point. So before we talk about the actual fight, can you explain to me the nerves going into or the emotions that you were experiencing going into that fight?
Okay, yeah. That fight
Was it different than the other ones?
It wasn't necessarily different other than the title. More than anything, it was for me, it was more mental than physical. That fight, that loss, you know?
Can you explain? Forgive me. Like, what do you mean by that?
So for that preparation for that camp was not good. Was not good.
Are you training?
Training, yeah. So I usually have 6 weeks to prepare for a fight, right? Typically, you want to have 6 weeks. First, but before then, this thing started before then. The gym I was at in Michigan, when I moved there, there was a lot of bodies. That's the whole point of me moving to Michigan was because a lot of bigger bodies I get to train with. Like there was I believe 8 guys that are big, but as time went on, people stopped showing up.
So the original reason you moved to Michigan for this gym
yeah.
was specifically because of the trainers and more specifically the other fighters there.
Correct.
And then as you moved there to progress for your this next bout, the variables changed.
Yeah, variables change. Like before I even picked up the fight, I was already had it planning. I was like, you know what, the gym is not what it was.
What you thought it would be.
Yeah. This was after like a year into it, and I was my wife at the time was my girlfriend. I was talking to her. I was like, hey, this is what's going on. She's like, you can check out different gyms. So I had like a couple months before I talked to someone I know in Texas to
Possibly relocate.
yeah, to check the gym out just to see how it is, before this. And I had scheduled a time. I was like, this is the day I'm going to come through, like, let the coaches know. And we were good. And that fight came up. I was like, I'll take it. So I took the fight as a little bit of time passed on. But I had this scheduled right before my camp. I was like, okay, I'm going to go my beginning of my camp. I'm going to go there, get a training, and come back and continue and finish up my camp here in Michigan. All right? And,
Can I forgive me for saying this because I just want to make sure that we understand the story completely. When you say a fight came up, was that separate from the fight that you had previous to this most recent fight? Like another fight? Or are you talking about the fight that did end up happening?
Yeah, Darren Weeks fight.
Sorry, forgive me. I just want to make sure that we're talking about the
sorry.
same thing.
I'm
So
not
you
the
were
best at
training at
explaining,
no. That's why I'm asking. Forgive me.
Yep.
So you were training at Michigan. There were talks about possibly going down to Texas.
Yeah, ahead
but
of time, yeah.
you had already accepted this bout agreement. I'm assuming.
No, I already had trip planned to go to Texas.
To go to Texas. Okay,
Texas,
sorry.
Texas. But then, because I have a hard time getting fights. So
Shocker.
So it just popped up. I was like, oh, I can't miss this opportunity. So, but it was beginning of my trip was in Texas. It was in April, mid-April, I believe, April 14th, if I remember correctly. And that was the beginning of my camp. So I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just go over there and train over there my beginning of my camp and finish up my camp in Michigan, I went there. I got great work at Fortis. That's where the gym I checked out at. And when I came back to Michigan, I was there for Fortis for 2 weeks. I came back. I had 4 weeks left. When I came back, there was nobody training with. I had no.
So you went from like a highly competitive gym with a lot of bodies, and then you were trying to finish your camp at your home gym, quote unquote, at Michigan.
Yep.
And it was a completely different experience.
Yep. At the time, Joaquin Buckley, I was training with him, but he had
in Michigan or Texas. Forgive me.
In Michigan.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, in Michigan, I was training with Joaquin Buckley because that's how I found out about the gym.
Is that Joaquin Murcielago?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yep.
To get some context, Joaquin Murcielago has a gym in Michigan where Joaquin Buckley, two different Joaquins,
Yeah, two different Joaquins.
first went up and then I guess said something to you and
he
said,
just called
hey,
me,
come get some work over here.
Yeah, he called me out for a camp, and I was like, fuck it, I got good work.
This is the gym.
Yeah, this is the gym. I want to go out there train with you, And I made a move out there, and as time went on, like I said, I went to Texas and came back, and when I came back, Joaquin, there was nobody showing up at the time. At the end of my
Can I ask why? That seems a little like out of the ordinary for a gym. So like, why wasn't there any bodies there? Did they not have fights? Was there like politics at play?
I wouldn't say
high level. I don't need to know the details.
Yeah,
but
I think more than anything, like there are certain fighters that showed up just
when they were in fight camp.
Yeah, when in camp. Other than that, when like
Isn't that fucking annoying?
That's very annoying. So I was like, I trained consistently, and when my time came up to get that work, then nobody showed up. Person that used to show up consistently is Joaquin Buckley, and at the time his daughter was just born, so he had moved to Missouri, to be with his family, and I couldn't really blame him for that. I mean, understandably,
he's got a newborn.
He has newborn, he has kids, so
Priorities.
it's whatever. But then after he left, like there was nobody there for the last 4 weeks on my camp.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And this is devil's advocate. Could you not have come back to Missouri as well?
I should have.
Okay.
I
So
should've.
hindsight being 2020,
Yeah,
you were staying out in Michigan because you thought that was like the best camp to have. The fighters weren't necessarily coming out to support you for your camp the way you did for them because you
Correct.
train year round. And then Joaquin Buckley at that time had a newborn daughter, so
Yeah.
he obviously wasn't around to be there for his family. So you were kind of like left on your own island. And hindsight being 2020, because obviously you have the connections here. You can go to ESMMA, you can go to Finney's, like they would welcome you with open arms. You could probably go to any gym now that I think about it. Wolves End, wherever you want to go. St. Charles and May, I'm sure they'd all welcome you, right? So obviously hindsight being 2020, we're working with different
Yeah.
variables now, you would have come back
I
to
should
Missouri.
have. Yeah, I should have. Even like for a little bit, just for that camp, I should have just came to Missouri and just finished out my camp and just fought here. But I was like, I don't really like St. Louis like that. I don't think it's.
Ooh,
It's
elaborate.
No, it's just I just think it's small. Like it's just small.
Is Michigan bigger?
No, it's smaller, dude. Michigan, like I hated Michigan, man. I like.
What is small about St. Louis? Out of curiosity, when you say it's small,
It's not small necessarily. It's just like I grew up here, so I know
everybody.
I know everybody. I know there's nothing. It gets old. It gets old. You know what I'm saying? Like
So you just want a breath of fresh air.
in a sense, yeah. So like I went to Michigan, and it was the worse than St. Louis. I literally didn't do nothing. All I did was train over there. I went home and slept. Train, slept. And
That sounds pretty good though.
It's
Train, sleep, train, sleep.
It's
Sounds like
great.
a fighter lifestyle.
Yeah, but like I didn't have anybody. I didn't talk to anybody like that. It was kind of depressing.
So
I was depressed.
Forgive me. Let me add a separate variable to this.
Yeah.
You're talking about the social aspect. You didn't
Yeah.
have any like friends
Yeah.
or. Okay, well then, forgive me. The next logical question would be like even more of a reason to come to St. Louis.
I should have, honestly. I should have.
Sorry. I'm not trying to like
But I didn't want to I know how St. Louis is. I didn't want to just come back to where I started from.
explain that. I had a curiosity because I think I know what you mean,
Yeah. But
you didn't want to come back to St. Louis.
Yeah, I don't want to be like, oh man, he just left there and just came back, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to just go back to the same situation I started from. I want to be in a better position instead of being me moving to Michigan. I mean, it was a new environment, but like, I didn't want to be going back to St. Louis just the same. Oh, he just came back. He's not gonna go anywhere. Like,
yeah, but can I add a?
What?
And I'm not trying to sound disrespectful when I say this. Like, who the fuck cares what anybody else thinks? Like, if you had to do a horizontal move to make a vertical move, who cares? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but for me,
at that time,
man, like I'm like, man, I don't want to go back.
You don't want to feel like you're taking a step back.
Yeah, I don't want to feel like I personally, like, you know what I mean. I'm like, oh, I'm literally going back instead of moving forward. You know what I mean? So like
that level of progression of like with your training and your career.
Yeah, I wanted the independence. Like I was living with my parents. It's like I'm not trying to go back and live with my parents. You know, I want to become independent, live my own life. I know it's gonna be hard, but like I don't want to, because if I come back, I know I was gonna live with my parents again. I didn't want to go back into that. You know.
Can we talk about that as like a man? Because there are some women that might hear this and be like, "What do you mean?" And I think I understand what you're trying to say, but like, if you don't mind, I'd like to extrapolate on that. Like, so like as a man, you left the nest, Michigan training, and even though Buckley was back in Missouri because of his newborn child,
he had a family here. Like that's understandable. Your family's here. I understand. Like I didn't have a child
at the time. Spoiler warning.
Yeah, at the time I didn't have a child, so I was like, dude, I should be moving, doing stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like for me as a person, you should be constant evolving, doing new things. You know, challenging yourself. And me going back was like, personally, I was like, oh, dude, it doesn't feel right. Like, I just didn't feel right, you know. So I just didn't want to come back here.
This is kind of a loaded question, and I just want you to know that before I ask this, there's no wrong answer. Mm-hmm. What do you think of St. Louis? Like, do you think of it as home? Do you think of it as like a place that you're trying to escape from? Like, what is St. Louis to you when you?
It's
like,
home. It's home. I find it home, like a nest. You know, you grow up here. It's like you're, like everybody you know. It feels home, but after a certain time, you gotta fly out of the nest. You can't live as a grown eagle in the nest your mom built for you. You know what I'm saying?
So like, you gotta spread your wings and branch out.
Exactly. You gotta do your own thing. You gotta live your own life. Like, you cannot just live under your parents' I don't want to be 30 years old living in a basement with my parents. Like, you know what I mean? That just doesn't feel right to me.
I can understand the sentiment there, and I'd be okay. I need to add the context of like, if I were to say anything different, I would be a hypocrite, because that's exactly how I feel. Ever since I left my home, I never wanted to go back, even though there were times where things were like, oh shit, did I move out too soon? You know what I mean? I would rather bite the bullet and eat that heap of shit than come back with my tail between my legs. So like
a little bit of pride, a little bit of ego. Yeah, I know.
I actually think that's healthy though.
I agree. I think it's, as a man, you need to struggle to like.
You need to eat some shit.
Yeah, you need to struggle to go to the next level in your life.
Like, and to figure out who you are.
Exactly, because like pressure builds diamonds. Like I said, like to see your true, what kind of person you are, you need to go through struggle, then go through adversity to become who you truly are.
And I hate to bring this up because there's a narrative that I'm trying to make with this podcast episode today because I kind of already know where we're going to go with this, but until then, we have to kind of go through the rough moments. Obviously, that fight was not the outcome that you perceived.
Yeah.
And there were some extra variables within that I think I would be behooved to not mention. So at that time, the UFC was coming to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Buckley was also fighting in the co-main event for that. And there were some UFC people within the crowd, specifically, I believe it was it Sean Shelby?
Yeah, Sean Shelby.
Sean Shelby was there. And this is a compliment, so forgive me if it doesn't seem like one, but they weren't coming there to see your opponent. Yeah, they were coming there to see you.
He had his opportunity. He had his opportunity. He got cut from UFC, and they were coming to see me, and I kind of did fumble the bag.
Can I add something?
Go
I
ahead.
don't think you fumbled the bag, Max. I don't. I think what happened was you took the chance and didn't necessarily have the output that you wanted. I'm only saying this as a 32-year-old man. Perhaps I'm completely wrong, so take that into consideration. But you're a young man who's hitting his athletic prime, and it sounds like you're very much maturing in your own mental acuity.
Yeah.
I know that there were losses in my career that at the time I didn't understand that I needed, but now I understand that those were the exact losses I needed at the exact time that I needed them. Yeah. And when I saw that fight with you, it's not like you got blown out of the water. It's not like you got immensely hurt or anything. It just wasn't the outcome. You lost by a decision, right?
Yeah.
And I think even though it stings,
do
you think it was what you needed at the time? That was the question I wanted to ask.
I do think I needed that loss. Bitter as it is, even today, I have that whole fight I have never watched.
Really?
Never watched it. I try watching it so many times. I go to YouTube. I get to the half of the first round. I get pissed off.
Fuck this shit. Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, dude, even to this day, I have never finished watching a full fight.
My last fight, I have not watched start to finish.
Yeah, dude.
My last fight.
It just aggravates me. I just get pissed off and I just turn it off.
I say fuck you. And
but
so I'm also the hypocrite here.
Yeah,
I will let you know.
But I think I needed that loss. That because for me, that loss, instead of being physical, he has made me mentally stronger. You know what I'm saying? So like,
can you forgive me because I don't know what you're saying? So can you elaborate?
Okay.
When you say mentally stronger, because you seem like a mentally strong guy to me. You're very disciplined in your training, very consistent in your training. You take fighting very seriously. So when you say mentally stronger, what do you mean by that? In the fight itself?
Physically, like that, I think I'm better than Darren Weeks all around. Better grappler, better striker. You know what I'm saying? Overall, skill wise, I think I'm better than him. But I think I let the pressure get to me. Now something like that, I don't think it would bother me as much. Like for me, I just go out there, stay calm, and whatever. But that fight, I feel like I wasn't prepared enough. I was fine. I had the skills. It was mental for me. Like I feel like I didn't prepare enough. So like, I was forcing things, like shots. I took him down. Like I did unnecessary things. Like I wasn't trying to take him down, submit him on the ground.
Were you trying to okay, let me ask this in a more educated way. Because UFC matchmakers were in the crowd, were you trying to force a certain end to that fight instead of just being yourself? Were you adding additional layers to that fight because of who was in the crowd?
Yes, okay. I was. And like, if I just stuck to like how I normally fight, I would have won the fight. Probably like, I don't think I would have got, maybe, I don't know if I might have a decision or maybe not, I probably would have gotten finished. But like, I let him beat me mentally before I even lost the fight. You know what I'm saying? Now I think about it, I was like, damn, that for me, like, now I think about it, I was like, dude, I know I'm better than him. Like, I let the moment get to me, you know? Like, I know a bunch of UFC guys were there, like, from Joaquin Buckley,
Uriah Faber, Sean Shelby.
And all these guys were there. Like, it's my moment. It's my, like, so I was trying to get in there, like, put on so much pressure the first round, get him out of there and look good. Then, like, just, like, stay relaxed, just, you know what I mean, just go with the flow and just pick up the pace as you go. But I was just trying to force and get in there, dominate and get out, you know?
Do you think that and by the way, forgive me because I'm not trying to harp on this, but I think there's value in this conversation. Do you think you learned more in that fight, even though the outcome wasn't what you wanted, than perhaps your previous 5 fights, even though the outcome was what you wanted?
Yeah, that loss, I learned more with that loss than any of my past fights that I won.
What were some of the conversations that you had out after that fight, like with friends, with family, with coaches? Like, what were some of the things that were kind of circulating around you?
Like,
Love? Like, were you getting a lot of love? Were you getting a lot of...
I mean, yeah, a lot of people, oh man, it's okay, it's okay. But to me, like, I'm like, I know what I was feeling. And I know, sure, like you said, like, people have the perspective. They start from the outside, like, oh, this guy, you know. But, like, I know I'm better. But, like, I feel like I cheated myself. To me, I was so upset. Like, after that fight, for like a little bit, I was blaming other people. I was like, it's not my fault. You know, I just didn't want to own up to it. But it was my fault. I let the pressure get to me. It was just a regular fight. Other than that title, like, he was in UFC. Like, he's skill-wise, he's not better than me. I let it get to me. At the moment, I was like, damn, like, I was upset. I was just trying to blame other people. It's like, you know what? Then it finally got to me. Like, I was like, dude, it's my fault. Take accountability for it. It's your fault, dude.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
That sounds like enlightenment.
Yeah,
that sounds like maturity.
Yeah, it was like, to me, I was like, dude, it's your fault.
I coach high school wrestlers, and like, if more high school wrestlers like understood like what you just fucking said, my job would be a whole lot easier.
Yeah, so like after
it's not coach's fault. It's not everybody else's fault. It's my fault, and it's like it sucks to say that. It sucks to say that.
But yeah, then I felt like I'd start blaming. Oh man, I didn't get the good camp, which I didn't. I didn't say like I didn't get like good work. Like for me, at least if I had a good camp, I wouldn't have the doubt. Oh, I'm not prepared. You know.
Did you have that going into this one? Oh, I didn't have a good camp, so you had.
No, this camp I was.
No, forgive me for the previous fight.
Fight.
Yeah. Sorry for that fight specifically. Were you kind of going in there not firing on all cylinders? Were you kind of like, I didn't get the sparring rounds that I needed. I didn't get the this that I needed.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I didn't.
So it was kind of throwing you off.
Yes, it was mentally. I was letting it get to me. But at the end of the day, like I was in shape. It's not like I wasn't in shape. I was in shape. I still had the skill level. I had all the tools, but it was just a excuse that I gave myself to not perform how I should. So after that, I was blaming other people. Like, then I was like, you know what? But I needed to move out of the gym though. Like the gym was not the place for me to be.
So you're not there currently. Forgive me.
No, I'm not there currently. I'm currently in Dallas, Texas, and Fortis MMA.
Fortis MMA.
Fortis MMA. Yep.
Does Buckley train there as well? Forgive me for asking.
No, he trains here in St. Louis.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So over there,
I didn't know if maybe Buckley went there, so that you also went there. If you don't want me, forgive me, because I'm trying to have like some coherence in this conversation, and we're gonna get back to the fight. But why Fortis MMA? Like, what was it about? Like, why not somewhere in California? Why not in South Beach, Florida? Why?
Well, financial reasons too. It was
very fair.
Yeah, like
preach, please.
Yeah, like a lot of
coasts
places
are expensive.
Yeah, like Florida, California, Vegas, Nevada, like all these places are just like expensive to live, and Dallas was like affordable at the time. Like I looked at it, it was like, oh, it's affordable, you know. I could live there, and the gym was they were ranked number 1 in one of the upcoming gyms. Like Jeff Neal, there were a bunch of UFC fighters there, like big guys too, you know. So I was like, oh, this is a good fit for me. I want to go check it out. That's one of the reasons I went up there, and I got a good work in. Like first 2 weeks, I got great work in. So I was like, dude, like, this is it. Like I need to move here. So, that's what happened. So I ended up picking that gym.
Can I ask one other question? Because one of the variables that we're kind of leaving out is there's also like a significant other in all of this. Mm-hmm. So this woman who's now your wife, and by the way, congratulations on your baby and being a father. You know what I mean? When you say things like, oh, I left this gym to go to this gym, or we had to relocate, there's also variables within that, and that is the significant other.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we kind of broach that subject a little bit, saying like, what was that conversation like with was she your fiance at the time, or still a girlfriend, when you decided, hey, we're going to leave Michigan and we're going to go to Texas?
At the time, I believe she was my girlfriend. But right before we left, it was like right before we left, we religiously got married. We went to a mosque and we got religiously married.
Oh, like because you practice Islam,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. So we religiously.
So you guys were married, like by the church, by the mosque. Forgive me.
So like, it was weird. Like,
First of all, how is that? How did you? Hey, by the way, we're gonna leave. Also, be my wife. Was this like a package deal?
it was weird. We moved.
You sound
quick.
like you got a. You sound like you got a good girl that
Yeah,
accepts and
we-
respects.
Yeah, we moved quick. Like within, I actually met her after one of my fights. The next day,
Which fight? Pro, amateur?
it was pro fight. I think
Okay.
it was my third fight.
And she said, "Let him eat." I'm sorry. That's your wife. Forgive me. Forgive me.
But no, she came to my fight the next day. I guess she trained at jiu-jitsu gym where I used to train at, and she's like, "Congratulations on your fight." I was like, "Were you there?" She goes, "Yeah, I was there." I was like, "Oh, okay." Then start talking, and like literally, a month into it, was, we were just talking back and forth for a month, and I asked her to be my girlfriend. She's like, "Sure." And like after another month, I was like, "You want to get married?" She's like, "Yeah, let's do it." Then like
Wait a second.
within 3 months,
This fast?
that quick.
No shit.
That quick. I met her within 3 months. I met her. A month passed. I asked her to be my girlfriend. A month. Met her.
May I ask you, what were the variables that you saw that you were like, all right, this is a wife material? Like, because some guys there is a growing malcontent with young men who constantly talk about how there's like no good women out there.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, and I'm sure you could tell them as well, like I found a woman, you found a woman.
Yeah.
I have this answer, but I'd be curious to hear from you. 3 months, most people would say that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you saw that you're like, this is it. This is the mother of my children. This is the woman I want to marry. Like, what were some of those variables?
For me, I looked at it. One, physically, she was gorgeous. No, what? Like to me, it was. She
Hey,
was
no, listen.
She was, like I'm telling you, like she was physically, she was.
She was
beautiful.
built like a shit brick house.
No, I'm talking about she was physically beautiful. Like she has a good heart. More than anything, she has a good heart. That's what I find attractive. And also, she's patient. She's patient. Like for me, like
So the house seemed peaceful.
yeah, it was peaceful.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Do you mind?
Go for it.
One of the reasons why I immensely respect and admire my wife is not because of her intellect or her earning capacity or the mother that she is, which I respect all of those things. Don't get me wrong. Like, these are all variables that I also admire.
Yeah.
But I think it's underscored how important it is. For me as a man, I feel like my job is to go out there and scour the world for opportunities. And that it leaves some scars and some wounds on me, both mentally and physically, right, when I come home. And I can't explain to people better than this. Like, when I come home, I love coming home.
Yeah.
When I open the door and my daughter's like, "Daddy," and my wife is like, the house is clean, there's dinner on the oven, or if I'm coming home really late at night, she's already put it in the fridge and she's like, "Hey, go eat it up." Like, I can't explain to people, if you were to put a monetary value on that, I literally don't have the price.
Yeah.
I literally don't have the price.
Yeah.
So when I think to myself about the variables in which I was calculating when I chose this woman to be like, all right, you're going to be my wife. I want you to be the one to have my children with. These were some of the variables that I was like, are you smart? Are you sexy? Are you all these things? Duly noted. But also, do you bring peace to my life?
Yeah.
And do you respect what it is that I'm trying to do? And these are two variables that I think are very difficult for people to kind of comprehend. Because, like, how do you calculate peace and respect? I'll explain to you. Peace is, and I hate to say this, ladies, are you bringing me solutions or are you bringing me problems? Because I already have all the problems in my life. I'm a man trying to make his way in this world, right?
Yeah.
Are you bringing peace into my life in terms of solutions at the home? Are you making my house feel like a home? I genuinely love coming home. I don't know how you are, but like when I'm done with my work day and I'm like, dude, I cannot wait to get home. This is going to be awesome. When we're done here tonight, I'm driving straight home, right? I can't put a price on that. And more importantly than anything, I used to think that love is what held a relationship together. Love is great.
Love fades.
I
like over time, like I wouldn't say fades. It's not. Love doesn't fade out. I'm sorry. Like when you're attracted to somebody, like at the beginning, that lovey-dovey part fades over time. Like what tests is like a struggle. She can ride along with you through the struggle, that's when you know like
That's
hey,
the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
I think what you were trying to say is like love can change.
Love change, yes.
Like you initially have that first like lovey-dovey phase, like where wow, she finds me attractive, I find her attractive. There's a lot of intimacy, there's a lot of chemistry, but then it's like, what do you have after that? Especially when you get older, right? Like when we get older, dude, it's I don't know about you, but I've never met like a sexy 70-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're all eventually gonna get wrinkly.
Yeah.
I hate to say it that way, but then that's why I kind of harp on respect. And I think that we as men, I'm going to kind of make a point here. Maybe you disagree with me. We as men don't talk about that enough. I think women crave love because it's an emotion that is difficult to get out of men, duly noted. But men crave respect
Yeah.
because it's an emotion that we need, that we thrive on. I can live without being loved, truthfully.
Yeah.
I can't live without being respected.
No, I feel
By
you.
my peers, by my enemies, by whoever the fuck it is. Like, whether you see eye to eye with me or not, you might not agree with me, but you'll respect what I'm trying to fucking do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you have a partner that respects and admires what you're trying to do, I can tell you this for my life, Max, like, it allowed me the confidence to try for more. Because I knew that my partner would admire and respect this. And thank God she did. The reason I harp on this is because, like, some people might look at that, like, 3 months and be like, that's crazy. I've seen crazier.
Yeah.
And you guys now have a beautiful child.
Yeah.
Baby boy, correct?
Baby boy.
Do you mind if I ask the name?
Atlas.
Atlas? Oh, lifting the fucking world on his shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
If you don't mind me asking,
Yeah.
you know, obviously you guys got married, ended up having a child. How did that change you? How did that change the equation? How did that change the perspective of fighting? How did that change what you're doing outside of fighting? How did that change your life becoming a father? First, forgive me, becoming a husband, then becoming a father.
Become a husband. I mean,
If you did it in that order.
yeah.
Not knocking anybody who doesn't,
Yeah.
not in that order.
Yeah, we got married, and after we got married, a year later,
What an honest man you
religiously
are.
married. Yeah, like I met her. Asked, like a month later, I asked her to be my girlfriend. Then a month later, got religiously married. Then a year later, we got.
Why do you say? Forgive me if you don't mind me asking. Why do you say religiously married? Why don't you just say married? Who cares? You got married, right?
Yes, but legally, we weren't legally married. So,
By the state.
by the
Okay,
state, yeah,
that's
yeah.
why. Forgive me. Okay.
by
okay.
the state, yeah, legally we were not a state. Religiously, we got married, but legally we weren't married.
Well, luckily for us, God is eternal and the state is not.
Yeah, for me, like I was like, I'm gonna do this right. So, after we got religiously married, a year later we got legally married.
What did her family say out of curiosity? Dude,
They were shocked.
good. Dad.
Everybody that
3 months, bro.
everybody, her friends, her family, everybody was
How
shocked.
is that aged post that though? I'm guessing for the positive because they kind of see the kind of man you are and.
Like it was a little scary at first. I was like, damn, am I really, like, I was second guessing, am I really ready to be married? Like, but marriage with everything else is a decision, in my opinion. Even she said she agrees too. Like, it's a decision. If you want to be with someone, you just decide, you just suffer, like, or you know what I mean, or you suffer if you have to. Like, you have to decide to endure, like, go through the hard times, climb through those hills with that person. It's just a decision you make. You know what I'm saying?
You picked your partner.
Yeah, you decide once you like get like, because life is not just like uphill, like, you know, or just like, you know, like cruising. It's gonna be up and downs. If you will decide to be with that person, you just gotta accept that there's ups and downs to it, like good moments and bad moments. You just gotta decide to stick around with that person for the bad moments. You know?
For sure, when I first started dating Bruna, I don't think all her friends liked me.
Yeah.
And for sure, to this day, I don't think all her friends like me.
Yeah, but
But I will say this: I think they were been pleasantly surprised at the kind of me. I think they had doubts in me. I was
Yeah.
the fighter guy with tattoos and all this other stuff. But now we've been together for 6 years dating. It'll be 2 years married. Actually, 3 years married next May. So like, I've stood the test of time. There were doubts with our relationship as well. And the thing I'll tell you is that it sounds kind of bad to say this because it's like the family members and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, this is how I feel.
yeah,
Your parents will not outlive you.
yeah,
You will outlive your parents.
most likely, yeah.
You will, hopefully, ideally, that's
Yeah,
the way it
yeah.
should go, right? So, like, at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you in terms of what you perceive to be what's best for you. And what you think will stand the test of time. So like I tell people, like, you don't have to worry about making your parents happy or making your friends happy or making your siblings happy. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Are you respected? Do you feel loved? Well, don't worry. Over the test of time, over the longevity of your life, everybody will see the same thing that you saw. It's happening to me in real time. There were a lot of people that when I first started dating my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, I'm sure they didn't like me. I was an asshole. I'm this, I'm that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just being a single guy. You know, you're not used to being a partner yet. Like,
Correct.
Like, you need to learn how to work together and you move as a unit.
Do you think we do enough to teach young men that? Because one of the things that surprised me about relationships was what you were kind of saying. Like, you hear about like love at first sight and all this other shit. Dude, I didn't experience any of that. I experienced like, you have everything that I've been looking for in a woman. I hope to God that I'm everything that you're hoping to look for in a man.
Yeah.
You're the one that I feel like we're going to hit some rough waters, and you're the one that I want on that boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I felt.
I agree.
Leave the romance out of it. The romance comes and goes, but like that longevity was like, this is the girl that can stand the test of time.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's how it is. I mean, that's how you know.
I knew, and it sounds like you knew as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, once you get that, you're like, all right, she's the one. Then you just decide, it's a decision. You're like, she's the one, and I'm gonna be on her side till we die.
The decision to have a child, was that like a surprise? Was that like you guys were working for that? How did that work?
We weren't necessarily working for it, but we weren't doing nothing about it.
If it happened, it happens. Yeah. That's exactly how we did it.
Yeah.
What was that like when she told you she was late?
First time we found out she was pregnant, like, we found out pretty quick. Then
when you say pretty quick, like, what do you mean? Like
she missed her period, and like
then a day or two, you guys were like, okay, we're
literally like 4 days after.
Okay. Well, that's
yeah. After she missed her period, I was like, yeah. Then she took a pregnancy test and it said that she was pregnant.
What did you think? What was the natural reaction?
I thought I was gonna be shocked, but I wasn't. I was like, oh, it's about time. Yes, it was gonna happen, you know. But then after like a month and a half, she had a miscarriage. Yeah. So.
Max, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's apparently it's common for
it's very.
Yeah, it's very.
But that
common
doesn't necessarily take away. So like I from one man to another. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean it was rough, but like. She took it harder than I did because she was mentally preparing herself and like.
Well, they go through way much.
Yeah,
dude, they go through way much more than we do.
Yeah, so
we just deliver the package.
So it was rough, but for me, it didn't hit me that hard till like 2 weeks later. After it hit me later, like
the delayed reaction.
The delayed reaction, it hit me a little like.
And what was it about like 2 weeks? Like, was it just like
I was literally just in the kitchen, just washing dishes, and I was just thinking about it. I just started tearing up. I was just tearing up. I was like, and she's like, "You're all right?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not okay." Like when I first found out, I was like, "Oh, I was upset," but like I wasn't tearing up. I was like, "Oh, okay, it's unfortunate." But like out of nowhere, it just hit me. Like I was tearing up. I was like, "Damn!" Like then we sat down and talked about it. Then we tried again, and like we didn't do anything about it. She got pregnant again. She got pregnant again. Then like luckily, like. A month later, she got pregnant again. Like, it was pretty quick. I was like, geez, okay. And then I was just, back in my mind, I was a little worried. I was like, oh, hopefully this doesn't happen.
I'm sure you had fucking anxiety, both of you.
So we were worried about it. Once we passed the 3 months, we were like, okay. Well, now I feel like we're a little bit more safe. But yeah, I mean, it was a little scary at first, but we got through it.
God bless. And I'm sorry I didn't know about the first one, so forgive me.
No, that's okay, man.
Can we talk about that briefly about when I was younger? I remember when I was in like high school and college, like the active scare or the propaganda that we believed at the time was that like, dude, we got to do everything that we can to not get girls pregnant, right? Like, I was like, I don't want to have kids, and all this other stuff.
It's like your whole life is just like there's a stereotype.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Your life is ruined. You're done. You're stuck.
I think that there are two things that are incorrect with that. I think number one, I do think that all children are a blessing by God. And especially now, considering the circumstances where all of my friends, it's ironic. The irony is not lost on me that like there was a moment in my life where I was like, don't get girls pregnant, don't get girls pregnant, right? And now like literally the majority of my friend group are actively trying to get pregnant. And it is almost as if like, I don't want to get too, spiritual or whatever, but I feel like there was a price to pay with birth control and unlimited amounts of sex, and I feel like almost like we're paying a price for it as like society, where the majority of my friends live the similar lifestyle as I do, and now they're all trying to start their families and do their thing. And I hate to say this, the number of people that are finding fertility to be a challenge is greater than the number that's not. Meaning the majority of the people that I know are actively having problems trying to have children. The people that like easily have children, like me and my wife was on birth control when we got pregnant. So we literally were like, this is God. Yeah. This is a sign. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we're going to do. Because we weren't even engaged. Actually, no, forgive me. We were engaged at the time, like 1 or 2 months. Okay. But we had to postpone the wedding because of it. Because we were like, okay, well, this is a curveball. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the majority of my friends are like, they've been trying. I can't tell you how many of my friends have tried IVF multiple times. I can't tell you how many of my friends have taken all of the romance out of sex because now it's like, okay, when am I ovulating? We have to have sex tonight. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it just, I feel so like stupid having this conversation because we're just like two meathead fighters. But like, there is something to be said about the beauty of creating life and how I don't think we do a justice in society by amplifying that. Yeah. Like, this is a beautiful thing. What you did with your wife is fucking beautiful. Yep. It would not be possible without either of you, right? Yep. And one of the things that I try to tell my friends, that's why I said, like, God bless, and I think I love the fact that you're a father, and I think being a father makes men better. I truly do. I agree. I'm sure every man you know, that could be the status quo for. I know it happened for me. I had my kid, and I was like, okay, time to cut out all my bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, but you, from being not a father to a father, your mentality changes.
Can you explain like what you mean by that? Well, how did it change for you?
For me, before if I didn't like sleep, if I didn't get like 6 to 7 hours of sleep, I would be like pissed off all day. Now I hardly sleep. And I don't even feel bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, I hardly sleep. I don't even feel bad about it. I work at nights. Like, for me, like it's not even an issue. Like, before I used to get so agitated, but now I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Well, because you're giving to something bigger than yourself.
It's fulfilling. Yeah, it's like, it's fulfilling. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like I don't feel I'm not doing it for myself. Like, before I'm like, oh man, I didn't get enough sleep. I didn't. Now I'm like, oh, my kids being supported, you know, like, I'm okay with it. I'm good. I'm happy about it. So like, it gives me like you said, a purpose. Like
I think it's our ultimate purpose.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I do, the more religious I get. Truth be told. There are many titles that I've had in my life: fighter, accountant, analyst, all these other things. The title that I hold with the most esteem is father. The second is husband. And then after that, I started thinking to myself, like, what other titles do I like? I like being a son to my father. I like being a brother to my brother. And I realized that, like, you know, we crave these like artificial
purposes.
I want to be careful how I say this because I think that I think men specifically should strive for like financial security. Yeah. So like, do not take this the wrong way. Please, by all means, do whatever it is that you can to make as much money as you can and to get the highest level and what that or the other. But one of the things I've noticed is like my titles have been increasing and I've gotten new roles and better, you know, pay and all this other stuff. But when my mom passed, I realized that there's a title I lost and that I don't have a mom. Does that make sense? Like, I can't call someone mom. Yeah. And as time progresses, I will have less and less titles. Yeah. Hopefully the day comes where way down the line, my dad passes at an elderly age and all that stuff, and then I won't have a father as well. Yeah. And hopefully the way it should go is that my brother, one of the things that I always say is the benefit of being the oldest son is that you're like the standard bearer of the family. The curse of being the youngest is you're going to have to bury everybody else. Yeah. Ideally. ideally. So one of the things I think to myself is I'm the youngest.
Are you?
Yeah. So I'll hopefully, ideally, bury my father and bury my brother the way it should go, right? But I'll lose those titles. I'll lose the title of son to my father. I will lose the title of brother to my brother.
No, you have. I mean, you'll suffer the most out of everybody.
I should. The gift was that I was the baby, so I was coddled the most. The curse is that I was the baby, so I will have to see everybody come and go. But the reason I bring that up is the titles that I've accumulated throughout my life through education and through my career, they stand at 10 degrees Celsius compared to father, husband, brother, son. The titles that I was born with supersede the titles that I've earned, and the titles that I have earned supersede the titles I was born with. Because I'd rather be a husband and a father than a brother and a son. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that they've made me a better man. I can tell you for a fact they have, because I've become more mature, more emotionally secure, all these other things. And
you feel more fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave me perspective. They gave me purpose more than myself.
Yeah.
More than what I had in my bank account or how I felt
all
about
the other stuff feels trivial.
Yes. It's not. We can all agree that it's not, but it should feel trivial.
Yeah.
And that's why I say that it will make you a better man, because it'll put things into perspective as they should be. I bet you this. I bet you the fervency in which you chase fighting is now greater, because now you have more than just your own mouth to feed.
Exactly. I know. Yeah, that is true. I do feel like I have. Before it was a selfish reason. Oh, I want to be the champion. I want to get in UFC. Now I'm like, I need to become a champion. I need to
make that money.
Yeah, I need. Yeah, exactly. I gotta support my family. I gotta be example for my son. Like, I want my son to be proud of me. Like, it gives you a different perspective, and it evolves you as a person.
That's interesting that you said that you want your son to be proud of you. Can you elaborate that? Like, can you go into deeper? Like, meaning what, fighting? Like your legacy in sport?
Yeah, like for me, I want my son to look at and be like, I look at Max Holloway and his son. He looks at the way he looks at his dad. He's like, that's my dad. That's my fucking dad. He's a world champion. He's a fucking awesome. Like, I want my son to look at me like that. Like, I don't want him to be like, oh, my dad my dad's a taxi driver. Or I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being a taxi driver. I'm just saying, like, I want my son to be like, oh wow, that's my dad. I want him to look at me and be proud. Be excited. He wants to be like me. So yeah, that's what I want from my son. That's one of the reasons I haven't stopped fighting, is for that. I want my son to look at me and be like, that's my dad. That's my fucking dad.
We talked earlier about, obviously, your second to last fight. It wasn't necessarily the outcome that you wanted, but it was in a lot of ways a way for you to mature both as a man and as a competitor.
Great.
Can we then talk about, okay, that fight is removed. What were some of the lessons that you learned? What were some of the things that you changed leading up until this fight? So what were the attributes that you changed? Obviously, you moved from Michigan to Texas, right?
Yep.
So that was one thing. Is there anything else that you can kind of pinpoint and say that needs to go or this needs to change before this last fight?
After that fight, I was pissed off for like good 6 months. I was just pissed off, like,
fuck the world.
Yeah, I was just pissed off. Like, for me, my whole purpose was like being a champion. I just feel like it was a big like stab in the back. Almost feel like I betrayed myself, and I was just pissed off. And
it's a lot of weight to put on your shoulders, brother.
Yeah, but like, since to me,
how many undefeated UFC champions are there?
Only a handful. Like what? Ilya, Khabib,
John, technically.
Yeah, technically John.
So what, three in our lifetime that we know of? You know what I mean? Like, that's.
Yeah.
So, sorry that you're not the fourth. Forgive me.
Yeah, it's all right.
But it doesn't mean you can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But to me, it's like, it is what it is. Like now look at Islam. Islam was on a tear. He's a champion. Like, so like, I lost Islam. It doesn't define you. But like before, I was like, fighting was my identity. I was like, I'm a fighter, but like, now I have a family. I'm like, I'm a husband. I'm a father, Now I have a more broader reasons to, be a fighter in a sense. Do what I do.
You're not just fighting for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm fighting more than just my selfish reasons. Now I have a family to feed, a mouth to feed. Like, a wife to a wife and a child to take care of. So like I do it with, I wouldn't say it's like an extra weight, but it's more of a
Motivation.
motivation and more like a fuel. It's more of fuel, like it's just like extra boost to get to that position. So like, yeah,
I'm glad that you look at it that way, because some people
because
would
it
look
feels
at
like
it.
that. It's not that I look at it; it feels like that. It's not, it's not just perspective. It's that's how I feel. I'm like, all right, cool. I do it.
Can I ask you a question? How disappointed were you when the initial opponent fell out and you had to do a late replacement for this fight?
For
Or
this
does
fight,
yeah, or does it even matter to you at this point?
to me, it didn't really matter because like I felt confident because I was hitting crazy cardio. Like for me, I was gonna keep a high pace the whole 3 rounds.
Let me ask the question actually in a different way. Forgive me.
Okay.
I remember when I was fighting, I wanted certain opponents because these were the opponents that I needed to get to the next level. And if I would have let's say an opponent backed out like a week before the fight, and then you just basically have to accept anybody that'll accept the fight, right? It might not necessarily be the fight that like will get you to that next level. And in that sense, it's disappointing. Did you even think about that? Were these even variables present to you, or were you just thinking, I don't give a fuck, I'm fighting on this day, let's go?
Yeah, once I usually sign a contract, it's pretty much deal. I already made up my mind I'm gonna fight.
Correct. But I'm saying is like what you think about that fight. Forgive me, I'm trying to dig a little bit deeper than that.
Rephrase your question.
Okay, let me ask you the question in a different way. Forgive me. So, obviously you're trying to go to the UFC, right? Surely we can understand that certain opponents and overcoming them will make that a expedited process.
Yeah.
If you beat an ex-UFC vet, or if you beat the next up-and-coming prospect,
Yep.
that puts you to the top of the line. But if you submit a fight with someone like that and then they back out for whatever reason, and now you're like 1 week, 2 weeks out from a fight, surely you understand, and there will be some people that don't understand this, so let me kind of extrapolate. It is very hard to find a fight locally when you're at Max's level, because the problem is you get this like schism of like everybody is scared to take that risk because they know a loss will kind of set them back one or two fights. So when you're like 5-0 prospect who's thinking about possibly being on the Dana White Contender Series, and your manager calls you and say, hey, Max Choriev needs an opponent, late replacement, a week and a half out, do you want to take the fight? Most fighters will say no. And most of the fighters that will say no are actually the fighters that you need to say yes, so that if you can overcome them, you kind of supersede that line, you put yourself right there in the mix, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, the truth of the situation is, and I've had this happen to me before, is like you get a guy that backs out 1 week from the fight and you'll literally accept anybody just to save the card, just to save the fight. Yeah. Whoever is the body that's in front of me, please, just someone get in there. The problem with that is it saves the fight, but it sullies the camp. Like, okay, I beat this guy, but like I was supposed to beat this guy. He took it on late notice and he wasn't really training the best. And it's like, did I really get anything from this? Yes, another win. But I always felt like, fuck, man, that was the part of fighting that annoyed the shit out of me. Yeah. Because I was always like, if I put my name on that piece of paper, I'm fucking going. Unless God himself prevents me, I'll be there. And it just always annoyed me when I felt like the other party was not at that same level as me in terms of commitment.
I've been in the game 12 years now. Like, I have so many people that fell through in the past to fight.
Well, you said 9 fights.
Yeah, so like for me,
only had 5.
I do like for me like if it falls through, I'm not like I'm used to it. I expect almost like
it still fucking sucks.
It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks. It's not what I want, but like I'm not shocked. Like, oh shit, this happened. You know what I mean? Like.
So is that how you train for it? Like you're like, maybe it'll be this guy, maybe it won't.
It's not like I have this image of this person who I'm fighting, but like if it falls through, I'm like, oh damn, that fucking sucks.
On to the next.
Yeah, I guess whoever you can give me at this point, like I'm already training, I'm already in shape. Like, 'cause I have the skill set. I can grapple, I can strike, I can do.
You're a very well-rounded fighter.
Yeah, so I can switch up my game plan last minute. Like to me, that's not an issue.
You were saying earlier that it's difficult for you to find fights. Can you elaborate on that? Meaning, like, it's hard to.
Yeah, it's hard for me to, like, even though it's Fury. My last fight was for Fury, but now I was trying to fight again in August, and they had trouble finding my opponents. Apparently, because I said
for Fury, the promotion
is
triple finding you opponents, meaning like When you say triple finding
Not
you, forgive
triple,
me.
trouble. Sorry.
Trouble finding you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know
The
what
people that
triple meant.
accept fights because they said, oh, because of your last name.
What I was saying earlier, like people don't want to take the risk.
They don't want to take the risk. They're like, you're a high skilled fighter, but the payout or the light is not big enough for me to like benefit off. So you're unnecessary risk I'm taking.
That is the most hunk of bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, so I mean,
because really the venue doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it really
because
doesn't
it'll be
matter.
all the same on Tapology.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
so when people say that, forgive me.
Yeah.
Oh, the venue's not big enough, or the lights aren't bright enough.
I think Fury is big. Like Fury is huge. Like,
yeah, dude.
Like
any professional fight that's sanctioned by a state is huge.
Yeah. So like to me, like I'm like yeah, but like I don't know. To me, like you can only duck if you're trying to get to the top level. You can duck somebody only for a certain amount because you will eventually run into a real one.
Brother, I know a lot of fighters that would beg to differ.
Yeah, like to me, like you're gonna run into them. Then when it does matter, all this time and effort you put into it, and you're like 5-6 years into it, then you're gonna face that real one. They're gonna fucking beat your ass and embarrass you in front of the whole world.
I think that the majority of fighters don't think the way you do.
Like it's just a matter of time. If you want to go through, you got to go through the fire. Like,
I agree.
Like to get to the world champion, you can't just pick and choose. Like for me, I try to fight whoever. You know, like if I can get able to get a fight, fuck it, let's win it. You know what I mean?
Can I ask another question? And this might be a little bit more personal. Have you ever thought about leveraging the assets that you have in terms of your network to kind of try to like maybe get you to like Dana White? Because obviously you're friends with Joaquin Buckley, who then has connections with the UFC from his own career. Have you guys ever had conversations of like, hey, can you say something to Sean? Can you say something to so?
Yeah, I mean, I'm currently signed with Sucker Punch. They have, I mean, my coach is Safe So. They go make Maynard and them go like hang out. Should go shooting. Like I have the connections. I just need the fights. I just need to go out and get the fights. Like that's
to show them like, yo, I belong.
Yeah, I did have the opportunity with Darren Weeks, but like I said, I feel like I fumbled a bit. I missed the opportunity. You know, I took a shot and I missed. But I feel that's something I needed it to evolve to it in the next version of myself.
If you were to guess or hypothesize, what do you think needs to be done at this point in your career to get you to that UFC contract level? Have you had conversations where it's been clearly stipulated?
Yeah, so I'm planning to get on Contender Series soon. Like, yeah, Contender Series. If like,
God bless.
If I get a last minute call, even better.
Stay ready. Don't get ready.
Exactly. So I'm always training. So I'm always ready. I'm gonna try to stay, especially now. I'm gonna try to stay low around like 190, 195. So just in case I get a last minute call, I'm ready to cut that weight like that. You know. So like I'm ready. I feel like I just need to get my foot in the door. Then once I get in there, I'm like, all right, cool. Now like because ideally I would like, if I'm not hurt, I like to keep fighting. Like I like to get 4 fights a year, but sometimes it doesn't happen, you know what I mean? But if I feel like I'm in the UFC, I'll have that opportunity because a lot of these guys get they get signed. They just want to fight once a year. I'm like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to.
I don't know how you make a living.
Yeah, the thing is, like, a lot of those fighters are overseas, like Russian fighters. They get sponsored by the government.
Well, can we also go expand on that though?
Yeah,
because it's the cost of living. And dude, Sean Strickland had a quote, and I've said this ad nauseum, but I believe in this. He said that if the UFC paid the same amount as the NFL, NHL, NBA, every fighter, every champion in the UFC would be American. And here's the truth of the matter is like, okay, so you live in America, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you get signed by the UFC tomorrow. The average contract is signed is 12 and 12. 12,000 to show, 12,000 to win. If you win that fight in America, you pay your round to mortgage for maybe like 5 months, right? 4 months. If you live in Dagestan, if you live in Rio de Janeiro, if you live in Africa, if you live in the slums of some country, dude, you could lose a $12,000 fight and you got enough money for the rest of the year, truthfully.
Yeah.
The average income in Albania a month is $500 US. So like if I lived in Albania, let's just say for argument's sake, and I went to the UFC and I lost a fight, I just made a year's salary easily.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes
but
sense.
if you live in
your
America,
money's worth a lot more overseas.
But if you live in America, brother, like, okay, that's
gonna last
3
you, like,
months worth of rent.
If
You know what I
that,
mean?
because you take only half of it home. Like you gotta understand, like
well, that's what
taxes, management, all this stuff.
No, that's what I'm saying. So 12,000 if you lose, and then yes, taxes and all this other stuff. You're absolutely correct. That's why I say like 3 months, $6,000, right? And there's something to be said about that. Like, so when we're talking about like the pay and everything like that. Yes, you're right. Regardless of government subsidies, I'm talking about just like the quality of life and the cost of living. Mm-hmm. It's hard to be an MMA fighter in America. I'm sorry.
It is hard, and plus like the market's so saturated. It's so popular. MMA is so popular. Like you have.
But that's also what causes it to like go up, right? Because it's popular. The money has never been better. We can't agree with that.
Yeah. Yes.
If you're in the UFC.
Yes, but then also you got to take consideration that like, there's UFC can pick and choose who they want to put on there, who they want to pay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can literally get fighters that are willing to fight for almost free, just for you know what I'm saying? Like,
what you're saying is the leverage that you have for negotiation is non-existent because there's 10 guys, 20 guys, 30 guys willing to take your spot.
Yeah, exactly, for cheaper. Like, and UFC knows that. That's why they don't, they try to manage and play the cards in their favor.
That's fair. That's fair, and I would also say that that's the market. But that's the difference between like a global market, an international market, and a national market.
But like the thing is with boxing, they have the Muhammad Ali Act, where like half of that.
Well, in America they do.
Yeah, in America, but like that's why like boxers get paid a lot more too.
Yeah, fun fact. But if you do like let's say a Riyadh season in Abu Dhabi, guess what doesn't exist?
Oh, really? But
where's the fight being held? Who's the sanctioning body? Who's the bodies involved? Does the Ali Act extend to other countries? I ask you this question.
No, but the thing is, like, majority of fights happen in the U.S. So if no fighter wants to.
Vegas is the the mecca of combat sports. I agree.
Yeah, but like
for now,
like no fighter will. Not I would say no fighter, but like fighters don't like wants to go paid less than what they got paid the last fight.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So like. If Canelo wants to fight like overseas, he's gonna be like, yeah, I want this much. Like I got paid this much last fight. Like I'm not gonna fight this if I'm gonna get paid not paid the same, or like more. So there. I mean, that makes sense. But like at the end of the day, like the market is still in the U.S.
I think you are correct. I hope you are correct, and I hope you're correct for a long time. But I see the winds of change blowing, and I don't know if.
So let me ask you: is the new deal the UFC got? You think
$7.7 billion over the next 7 years with Paramount?
Yeah, you think it's good or bad for?
Can you expand the question? When you say good or bad, do you mean good for the UFC? Okay, good for the fighters. No, I don't think it'll make any difference to the fighters. In the short term. Yeah. So here's the problem, right? Okay, let's do short term. Short term, no, because when Reebok bought the UFC, they didn't really make a whole big a difference in terms of like fighter pay, right?
Yeah.
In the mid to late term, it could possibly be better because increased eyes by removal of pay-per-view, right? So like because you remove the pay-per-view, more people will watch fighting. That will allow for fighters to get more of a crowd attraction to them and then possibly, create other means of revenue streams because of their popularity. That could be good. But what you're really asking me, the crux of the issue is, why is it that we feel the only way fighters can truly make a lasting income is if they branch out of fighting? Shouldn't they just be able to make enough money fighting and not have to do Twitch channels and YouTube channels and podcasts and all this other shit? Like maybe, let me ask you a question. Let me return your question. Forgive me. It's not whether or not the $7.7 billion of Paramount was like a good or bad for the fighters. Why can't you have your own sponsors?
Why can I have my own sponsors?
Yeah, like why do we still have the exclusivity clause at the UFC? They did a very excellent job during the Reebok years of removing the sponsors from the individual and allowing them to sponsor the promotion to generate the most amount of income for them. That would be fine if the fighters somehow received some sort of like income from that. Yeah. But it seems like the only income you guys got was from Reebok or subsequently Venom. Yeah. Well, how come when Monster sponsors, like the fighters in conjunction are getting, or when Crypto.com sponsors, or when DraftKings sponsors, or when Toyo Tires. Like, as far as I'm concerned, if you're telling me, UFC, that I can't have my own personal sponsors on my shorts, every single fucking sponsor on that canvas better give me some money.
I think they do. I think
you'd be surprised.
You think so?
I think you'd be surprised.
I know.
I think you get 2 paychecks, show and win, and then your Venom deal. I think you'd be surprised, and then possibly performance of the night, or if they like you, a little on the side.
Yeah, I don't know
But that's not tied to sponsors. That's tied to their discretion.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, I'm not knocking that.
You know.
That's their business. They can run it however they want.
Yeah.
But that is the truth of the situation.
Yeah,
How do I know that? I've talked to a lot of UFC fighters.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the details to it, but like I just know like you do get like certain percentage from from the sponsors they put out there.
That is news to me. Perhaps the fighters you know.
Maybe yeah. Maybe
okay. Let's talk about that. That's the tough part, right? Is because because it's not publicly available knowledge. By the way, it shouldn't be. The shitty part of all that is that then we're kind of left to our own devices to kind of speculate. Okay. So maybe you're right. Maybe the fighters that you know did get a percentage. Okay. But I'm telling you from the conversations that I've had, that's not been the case. There's an instance where we could both be right. Maybe you are right. They did get a percentage. Yeah. Maybe I'm also right. These people didn't get a percentage. Yeah. And to that extent, it is what it is. It's their own company. I'm not trying to knock, but the original question of like, is the $7.7 billion Paramount deal good? For the fighters in the short term, it's a net neutral. They won't feel it. Yeah. In the long term, I think it could be a positive. However, I think it's an amazing positive for the sport.
I guess it's how as a fighter, how you utilize it. Because you're going to have more eyes on you. So if you want to branch out and do your own thing.
But that's the part that I hate is like.
I know what you're saying.
You shouldn't have to do a Twitch or a YouTube. Like, listen, if you like content creation, by all means do it. Yeah. But like, do you know how many fighters like I've talked to that are like, I got to start a side hustle. I got to start this. I got to start that. I'm like, dude, I think entrepreneurship is great, but I would rather people start businesses because they wanted to, not because they felt like they had to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it should be like
a calling you naturally feel.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I don't know.
The problem with prize fighting is, it's an eyeball sport, and that's why I think the removal of the pay-per-view will be a subsequently a good thing for everybody. Because if you reduce the barriers to entry to be a fan, because right now it's crazy. You pay what, $15 a month to have the privilege of buying a pay-per-view. It's too expensive. Mm-hmm. And then the pay-per-view has increased in price $5 every year since the ESPN deal was
like $80 now.
Dude, it's incredible. It's insane. Yeah. Like let me put it to you this way. I want to be careful how I say this. I've never illegally streamed a UFC. Okay. But what we do now is like, if the card is not good, I just don't watch it. Yeah. And if the card is good, I pay for it. But do you know how many people don't do that and just illegally stream the memes? When they signed the Paramount Plus and the memes that was like, my Pirate Bay or whatever, it's like $0 a year. After the Paramount deal, $0 a year. Because at the end of the day, if you allow for these hurdles to be a fan of your thing, people will just kind of subvert that. So I think the Paramount deal does so much good in the sense of like reducing that initial cost to make it like a good product for people to just like, okay, $15 a month and I don't have to buy pay-per-views, easy peasy. And then I also get the movies and everything. But my concern is we were paying $80 a fucking pay-per-view for ESPN Plus, and that stream was dog shit. Dog shit. If anyone's watched a UFC event, it was like, how the fuck do you have like all the money and you don't have any of the bandwidth? So my one concern, and that could easily be, eclipsed like after the first UFC on Paramount, is like, if you guys are going to do all this, $7.7 billion next 7 years, and remove the pay-per-view, please make sure that you don't have like spasms in your stream. Make sure that people can easily be a fan of your sport. If you want money, your demographic should be everybody. Yeah. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, man, woman, young, old, disabled, crippled, able-bodied. Everybody is your demographic. So just remove those hurdles, make it as many people a fan as possible, and then that will subsequently increase everybody's revenue. Because if the first deal is $7.7 billion and they do better, what's the next deal? Now, the more logical question that I actually ask for you is, of that $7.7 billion, how much is the fighters going to see in terms of increased contract, increased bonus, increased discretionary spending? Because right now we haven't heard a word from it. I'm not saying that it won't happen, but one of the things I would have liked to see with that announcement is like, Paramount Plus is going to be our new home, $7.7 billion, $1.1 billion a year for the next 7 years. We're going to increase the base pay from 12 and 12 to 20 and 20. The $50,000 bonuses are going to move to $75,000 or $100,000. Like, have this all planned out. Have an announcement, something that we can cheer on.
Yeah.
Because obviously the money's there. When they signed the Reebok deal and the ESPN deal after that, it was when the UFC sold, they sold for $4.4 billion, if you recall.
Okay.
When Endeavor bought them, $4.4 billion. The TV rights for Paramount for 7 years sold for $7.7 billion. What does that tell you? Clearly, the value of that company has increased, right?
Double, yeah.
More than doubled. Because that's just the TV deal. That's not
Yeah.
that's not the value of the company.
Yeah.
My question for you is, has the percentages, not the total value, but the percentages of the value increase of the UFC, has that also trickled down to the percentage value increase in the people that are fighting? I don't think that's the case.
I'm sure the fighters will get paid a little bit more, but I don't think it's going to be
Percentage tied.
wise the same amount increase, like how UFC has increased their income.
And I want to preface it this, like, I'm not like a nut hugger. I'm not trying
But
to
at
like,
the end of the day, I don't know how much it will increase.
that's the
You know
problem.
what I'm saying?
So
I know it will increase though.
here's the thing too. I have a private portfolio and I own a portion of Endeavor, and that's the group that owns the WWE and the UFC. So like, I would also like to see some sort of profit sharing for some of the big fighters. But I obviously, like, equity is so difficult to give up, and if there was ever one fighter that deserved it that never got it, it was Conor.
He did so much for the sport.
He changed it. He changed it.
Yeah, he definitely changed it.
My dad did not know what the UFC was, but he knew what Conor McGregor was, and I was a fucking fighter. So make that, let me ask you a couple more questions if you don't mind. Subsequently, after this next fight, obviously that you're hoping to get into the Contender Series. Where are you trying to navigate the rest of your career now? Obviously, MMA is your focus, not necessarily kickboxing or Muay Thai or anything like that. When would you like to have the next fight? What are the plans today?
Right now, I'm working to getting a house, so like I'm
God
also.
bless.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to get a house, so. But I might get a fight in November, so I might get
Here in
I don't
St.
have
Louis, or
no.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like I might fight whoever can give me an opponent, But if I know Fury has a show in February, so I might even
Fury.
Fury, yeah.
Fury. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Fury might have a show in February, so I
Yeah,
might
but
do
February is
Yeah, I know. I don't want to go too that far
September,
though.
October, November, December, January. 5 months.
months,
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to bounce back pretty quick. Like, especially I didn't really take any damage from this fight.
Yeah.
For me, I just gotta start my cardio again because right now I'm back on like 196 and 7, so I gotta get back down a little bit. It's a lot of it's salt. I'm gonna get back in like my low weights again pretty quick. So, but I want to get back there probably in November. But I gotta look around, see what's available, what's out there, who wants to fight,
Can I ask you another question? What are your relationships like with the other St. Louis fighters that come up? What are your relationship like with the other UFC fighters that came up from St. Louis? So obviously you and Buckley are close.
Yeah.
But do you talk to Evan Elder? Do you talk to Sean Woodson? Do you talk to CJ Hunter? Like, I'm just curious.
I mean, I every now and then I talk to Evan Elder, Sean Woodson. I'm cool with them. Like I don't have no problems with them. I never really was close with them because I never really trained with them. I've trained with them a couple of times and at Wolves Den whenever I cross trained, but I don't know Sean like that, so I never really got too close with Sean. The other guy you said, I don't even know who that is.
CJ Hunter? God bless CJ Hunter.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't.
No hate.
Yeah, I don't really follow like.
That kind of shocks me because like so in business we always say like our network is our net worth.
Yeah.
And it kind of shocks me like the guys that are coming up from St. Louis, like I can't extend my will onto other people, but I would like to think that you guys are all kind of like trying to like help each other and
yeah. I mean, if they need help, I don't mind going out of my way.
No, I meant like more like extend their network onto you guys. Like, okay, let me change the nature of my question. Mm-hmm. So like obviously Buckley, like I'm sure when he's up in certain people and stuff like that, probably speaks your name, right? Like my boy Max.
Yeah.
Like I would like to think that like that's how like all of us are with all of us within that community. So like Sean and Evan and CJ and Garrett and all these other guys that are in the UFC trying to propagate and build up the next guys to be in the UFC as well. Now, this is kind of like wishful thinking because this is like a if it's cognizant, right? Like you didn't even know who CJ was, so it's like, how could you guys vouch for one another if you guys don't even know who you are? But then I think that's a failure of like St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you guys know who you are?
I wouldn't really blame saying the city. I would blame like myself. I mean, like for me, I can control the outside. I can only control myself. Honestly, I should know who that is. I should, but I don't. I enjoy fighting, but I don't really.
The politics of fighting.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, which is not good because at the end of the day, politics runs the world. Money runs the world and politics runs the world. So, like, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's my fault. It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's nobody else's other than mine. If I want to, I should. Because if I want to evolve my career, I should know who that is. If I want to get to the next level, I should know who that guy is. You know, I should go out and network with him. I should hit up Sean Woodson. Like, because he's ahead of me. Like, all these guys have been in the UFC. They know.
Well, they're also not in the same weight class as you. That's the other variable. Yeah. 25, 45, 55. I guess technically Buckley, but, you know, you guys are boys, and that's like a separate thing. But like,
even if they're not in a weight class, like, because in a sense, we are fighting the same promotion. So, like, just because we are not in the same weight class, I should hit them up and ask them, like, questions. Because, like, what I don't know, they know.
For sure.
They've been there.
And here's the other thing I'll say. For sure, some of them talk to one another. And my whole thought process was like, well, why don't you guys like start like a group chat? And by the way, this is like far fetched for me to say because I'm overextending myself. Like I'm like basically telling other people like, why don't you guys help one another out?
No, what you're saying makes perfect sense. Like,
it's like why not? Start a group chat. Like, hey, Max is on the up and up. Like,
yeah, it's not like it's cost me anything. It's
no,
just not, like it's a
Discord channel, easy peasy.
Exactly, it's a tool I don't utilize enough.
Well,
at all.
Or maybe it's not like. I guess what I'm trying to say is like. I have benefited immensely from older people that are much more learned and wise and established than I am. They helped me.
Yeah.
Like they're mentors to me. And it's weird because like, they don't necessarily have to be older, but like there are guys in the UFC that like literally train down the street from you or at the very same gym as you. Yeah. I would like to see, but this is easy for me to say because I'm not incorporated into this world, but like I would like to see a little bit more of like we know Max. Max came up at the same place as we did. Like, come on, brother. Like,
help each other
here's
out.
Some of the people you should talk to. Here's like the management, whatever. Here's if you already have management, forgive me. So like, here's some of the ties and things like that. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I know what you're saying. But yeah, you're right. I completely 100% agree with you. I should utilize my resources better. I don't do it. I agree. For me, especially they have since we came from the same area, like St. Louis. It's more likely that they would help me. It's not like they wouldn't, you know, like they're our people. He's gonna look at me like he's our people. He's from our town. So I should utilize that more.
Not just that. I know all the guys that I'm talking about. I'm guaranteeing you that if you reached out, they would.
Yeah,
I'm the kind of people they are.
Yeah, I know Sean Wilson. Sean Wilson is
they're all cool. CJ,
cool,
Sean, Evan, like they're all just they're really cool guys who just happen to be really fucking potent at fighting.
Yeah.
Even Buckley. Like I know that Buckley has gone above and beyond for some of the people that are close to him.
like I agree. I should utilize that more, like, because I know if they ask some questions, they're genuinely gonna like help me.
Yeah,
it's not like they wouldn't. I know that. Like I know with Sean,
and worst case scenario, you ask them and they say nothing, or you ask them and there's no value add. But it's like one of those things where like there's literally nothing, and then let's say you ask and like nothing happens. Okay, where were you? Exact same place.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you mind if I also ask about? I want to be careful how I do this because I don't know like what's public knowledge and what's not. But you're also an entrepreneur. You have your own logistics company, your own trucking company.
Correct.
Which I think is a fascinating thing to also accompany like the life that you live. Mm-hmm. So can we briefly just go over like how did you arrive to the point where you knew you wanted to become an entrepreneur? These are two risky things: fighting and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
They're pretty fucking risky, and you're doing both of them.
For me, I mean, I've been in the trucking industry since I was like 16, 17 years old. My dad's been a trucker. His brother, he's like 8 brothers, and they pretty much all been trucker drivers. For me, I know the ins and outs of the game. So it was just like, it made sense to do because I already know. I already have the skill set. I already have the knowledge of everything. To me, it made sense to get into that field, you know?
So how old were you when you thought, okay, I'll buy my first truck and we'll go from here?
Because
trucks aren't cheap.
Yeah, I got my first truck when I was like 21, I believe.
God bless.
Yeah, it was right as COVID hit.
Yikes.
Yeah, no, it was COVID hit, and I was like, damn, like, because I was supposed to fight for Shamrock, And
Same. We might have been on the same card, and that
Yeah,
card got
yeah,
canceled.
canceled, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That
then I was
fucking
like,
sucked.
damn, yeah, dude. It was literally the day of the.
It was March, right? It was supposed to be like March,
yeah.
and they were like, "Well, we're gonna do it in April." Spoiler warning:
Yeah,
wasn't in
man.
April.
I was basically on. I literally had like a day left. Yeah, man. But
We were on the same card.
Yeah.
I was cutting weight when Rob called me. I remember the ordinance from the city came down. They said 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah.
And I called Rob and I was like, hey, I'm about to get in this hot bath. I got like 3 more pounds to
Yeah.
cut. Because it was the day of weigh-ins.
Yeah.
So I was like, he's like, and Rob was like, don't worry, Ariane. We're in St.
They
Charles.
made in a group chat. They said, no, the fight's canceled. Yeah. I was like,
Oh, yeah, that's how I feel. Dude, Jordan Dowdy called me and said, sorry. I go,
Yeah.
what do you mean sorry? He's like, the fight got canceled, right? Rob didn't even call me. Jordan called me first. And then to Rob's credit.
I found out on Facebook. They made
Yeah, to Rob's credit, he did call me like 10 minutes after Jordan did.
Yeah.
But it was that was a weird fucking time.
Yeah, that's when because I was on a winning streak. Like I was like 6-0 at the time, and like man, I was trying to get another fight, and then the fight got late. All the fights got canceled for like I don't know, like
A year and a half?
yeah, a year and a half. Like
Unless you were already in the UFC, you weren't fighting.
yeah, but like 4 or 5 months into it, I was like not doing anything. I was like, man, I'm just wasting time. My dad was like, you should go get your CDL. So I literally practiced. I literally learned
All the ins and outs. And
yeah, I already knew how the ins and outs of the business, but like the CDL part, I was like, I didn't know how to drive a truck, and I literally learned everything off YouTube. Off YouTube, yeah. That I
better watch out, university.
yeah. Now they have schools. Yeah, it's a mandatory that you have to go get your.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Luckily.
Tell that to the Californians.
So like I learned everything on YouTube, and then I took the test, and I literally learned how to drive. My dad showed me how to drive, and like within like a month, 2 months.
So did you start driving your own truck first? And like you were the
No,
operator?
I got my CDL. Then I drove for like 8 months, 9 months, or something like that.
During COVID when you couldn't do anything else.
Yeah. So then
What was that like? What was truck driving like?
Man, I mean I don't mind driving. Honestly, I don't mind driving, but like it gets boring pretty quick.
Well, work is work.
Yeah, it gets boring pretty quick. But I saved up money to buy my first truck. Then I just expanded from there. And in 2022, my brother and I, well, he has his CDL too. A year later, maybe. I think about a year later, he got his CDL, and we decided to open a truck company together. And
This is like a joint thing. My bad, forgive me, I didn't know.
Yeah,
even better. Yeah, fuck yeah, go into business with your family.
Yeah, so
Nothing ever bad happened like that.
yeah, but yeah, my brother and I, we own a truck company now. So we got about what? Well, we got 5 now.
5 trucks?
Yeah.
God bless,
Yeah,
guys.
so yeah, we actually just sold
These are good
one.
margins now.
We
Like
just
now
sold
we're
one
getting to
today.
the point where you sold a truck?
Yeah, we just sold the truck today. But yeah, we got a different truck, but we sold another one.
Got you. So still 5.
Yeah, still 5. Now
Out
you
with
just-
the old, in with the new?
Yeah, well now we're trying to get into the roadside service also. So like we just got a box truck.
Can I tell you, my buddy, I don't want to say his name to dox him, but he developed a company specifically for like tow trucking, but for like heavy duty machinery. So like 18 wheelers, but like if a 747 gets off of the tarmac at like an airport or whatever, you think to yourself like, oh, you can just pull out. No, these planes are like stuck in the ground. So like he has a towing company specifically for like planes,
Really?
18 wheelers, like heavy duty oversized loads or whatever.
Yeah.
And when I tell you he makes a fucking killing,
yeah.
like when he started showing me some of the numbers, I thought to myself like,
Yeah, like it's
how much does that truck cost? You know what I mean?
Tow business is
Bro,
it's insane.
and then for the
It's
majority of it, you don't even pay it. The insurance company does.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, well, it's coming around my deductible anyway.
Yeah, for you to go out there, like for them to even go out, they don't even have to do the towing. They charge you
Oh yeah.
like crazy amounts. Like it's like
Well, they got to drive
planes-
out to where you're at, which
Yeah.
is like a whole thing.
Yeah, like even just for them like to take a truck out, they talk like even like when accidents that happen on the road.
Oh yeah.
Literally pull a truck out from a ditch to the back on the road. They charge like I heard people say $45,000.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that he don't know his name or anything like that. Let me put it this way: he had to tow an airplane. So like the airplane, I guess when it was like pulling out or whatever, it like got on the lawn Okay, so like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Got
Airplanes
stuck.
are fucking heavy, and
Yeah.
the ground, the mud is you're gonna sink.
Yeah.
So to pull that airplane out, he charged them $55,000.
Yeah.
Go out there, pull it out, put it back on the thing. You know, make sure that everything was good,
took
and like
like-
get out
like
of
30
there.
minutes.
55. No, it took him about like an hour and a half, 2
Really?
hours. Once he was
Well,
there,
yeah, I guess
it
planes
also
are
took him like 5 hours to drive out there because it was like a private. It was like a
Yeah.
private airport, not like a. Like St. Louis Lambert, right?
Okay.
Like where it was like down the street. So like 7 hours, but $50,000 for 7
Yeah.
hours of work. If you tell me that, I'm like done.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, tow business is. I mean, yeah, it's a very lucrative business, like, especially during like winter seasons.
It's a not sexy business that like most people don't know about. I didn't know about it until he told me about it.
Yeah, they make a lot.
It
of
makes
money.
sense. Like someone's got to tow these things
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
like jackknife or whatever, and not just 18-wheelers, but like also heavy duty machinery. I had a professor in finance when I was at UMSL, and he told me there are a million ways to become a millionaire. And I was
Yeah.
like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, you can have one business that makes $1 million, and you're a millionaire, or you can have 1,000,000 $1 businesses,
Yeah.
and now you're a millionaire." And it kind of changed the perception of like how I viewed business. It's like, oh, I don't have to be the number one in an industry to be successful. I could be number 1,000
Okay.
in 5 different industries, and I'm
Yep.
there. You go, 300,000 here, 200,000 there, 100,000 there, 400,000 there. You're a millionaire. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense because
And-
I know like the money is all over. You just know you just learn you just need to collect it.
Correct. There's opportunities everywhere. You just got to take advantage of them.
'Cause you should-
Speaking of that, so like you have the entrepreneurial thing. You're making the money on the trucking company. You're fighting. I know that you also like do some things at the gym to also generate a little bit of income. What is like if I'm talking to you now in 5 years, and this is actually going to be like one of the last questions we have, unless you have a topic that you want to touch. If I talk to you again in 5 years, what are the conversations that we are having? What are some of the things that you'd like to? Do you want more kids? Are you in the UFC? Are you a champion? Are you 10 trucks, not 5 trucks? Like,
Yeah.
what's the 5-year goal?
Honestly, like I would like to have more kids. I would like to have at least 4.
Really?
Yeah, at least 4. Like,
God bless.
but yeah, if I'm financially can afford kids, I would like to have as many as possible.
We can always make more money.
Yeah.
We can't always make more kids.
Yeah. So like for me, if I'm making good money, like from fighting from my businesses, I would like to adopt some kids too.
No shit. Why?
Yeah.
Why adoption out of curiosity?
There's a lot of kids out there that needs adopting.
Is that a
and-
calling you feel?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, they're children. You know what I mean? Like, they have done nothing wrong other than be born. Like, even being born, it's not their fault. So there's a lot of kids that needs, like, especially with Gaza, everything. Like over the weekend, I walked out with a Palestinian flag because there are innocent children dying. There, the parents that died. Now there's orphans. So I think I could do my part as like if I can afford it, why not? You know what I'm saying? So like make the world a little bit better. You can change somebody's life.
I think that's a beautiful thought.
So
I do agree that I agree with the sentiment that like if we have the means, we should execute on them.
Yeah.
So, but it's one thing to say it; it's a different thing
Yeah,
to
like,
feel it. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So, God
I
bless,
get
man.
that. Yep. But yeah,
So
I
more
mean,
kids. You have at least 4.
Yeah, at least
Possibility
4,
of
yeah.
possibly adopting.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't want to be in truck business.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's just stressful. It's just especially nowadays, like the trucking business has like gone down.
Can I tell you something?
What's up?
I'm also in the trucking business.
Yeah.
I also have 5 trucks.
Really?
It's actually pretty lucrative.
Yeah, but like it's just stressful. Like
I hired someone to do all the dispatching for me.
yeah, we hired someone too. So we had
It's nice. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's
Yeah.
like it's less money in my pocket, but less stress. So like, so maybe we
It
can
is nice.
bounce some ideas off one
Yeah.
another. But
But yeah, to me, like, I would like to open a gym in the future.
Really?
Yeah, I would like to own a.
that is one thing I don't want to fucking touch.
Really?
Why do you want to do a gym?
I enjoy fighting. Like, I would like to pass on my knowledge to the
Okay.
to the younger youth.
Like, who do you want to train? Adults, children? What would you?
I mean, I would like to have a
open
fighters gym. I would
Okay.
like to have a fighters gym, but at the beginning, I would like to just have like a younger generation. But like I would like to be at the end finished with as a fighter, just strictly fighters.
So you want to?
Like professional fighters, like I would like to have a management company. I would like to have a promotion, but that's something in the future,
Way
like,
down the line. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't even know if it's gonna happen. Like it's whatever God plans.
Well, never say never.
I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying it's just like if God like in Islam we have this saying, if it was meant for you, it could be under 2 mountains. it will come to you. But if it wasn't meant for you, it could be between your lips. It's still you won't still touch it.
Ah, I like
Yeah.
that.
So like, to me, if it was meant for me, if it's God's willing, it'll happen. You know. So yeah.
That's a beautiful thought. Max, I genuinely hope for the best of your career, man. I hope that the next conversation we have like this, we're talking about the UFC career and your experience in the UFC. I'm really looking forward to watching your career progress and seeing where you come and seeing how far you've come as an individual, as a young man, as a father and a husband. It's God bless you, man. I hope nothing but success and happiness for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Before we call it quits, is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to touch on? Anything you want to do?
I mean, I just thought I'd like to thank Fortis MMA, my coach, Coach Saif, and my corners that came out this past weekend, Charles and Jeremiah. And I'd like to thank my brother. He's always there in my corner, like kind of helping cut weight.
Being the ride or die.
No, yeah, like he's the fight week, man. He's my guy. He's my.
Is he sitting in the sauna with you?
Yeah. Yeah, like
that's the unsung hero.
Yeah, like he's there, man. Like I appreciate you, bro. I love you. My business partner, my brother.
He's blushing.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to you guys, and yeah, thank you.
Max Choriev. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for having me.